Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Playtech TV. My name is Kevin, and today we're going to be checking out the Nvidia Geforce GTX 980. This is a reference model from ASUS that I have with me right now, and we're going to be doing an overview of the new features that come with this new GPU and a review with some benchmarks and temperature testing to show you guys how well it really performs. First, let's talk about the specs and features that come with the Geforce GTX 980. So the GPU is a Maxwell GM204 GPU unit, still 28 nanometers. It's coming in with 2048 CUDA cores. Comes with 4 gigabytes of GDDR5 video memory, and that's at a memory speed of 7010 megahertz and on a 256-bit memory bus. Now it also has a 1127 megahertz base clock and a 1216 megahertz boost clock, but it does feature GPU Boost 2.0, which means it'll automatically overclock if temperatures allow. It has a 165 watt TDP, and for a flagship card, that is just unbelievable. That is so good. Now, some of the features it comes with is improved memory compression and caching. This is to make up for its 256-bit memory bus, which, if you know, the GTX 780 and 780 Ti had a 384-bit memory bus. So don't worry, that's been covered. It's not a downgrade. It has a dynamic super resolution, or super sampling anti-aliasing, which renders the scene at a higher resolution and then downscales it for better graphics quality. It also comes with MFAA, which is also known as multi-frame anti-aliasing. It's much more efficient than what you're probably already used to, MSAA, and doesn't take as much GPU power. And VXGI illumination technique, which isn't out yet but will be available further down the road. If this cooler looks familiar, it's because it is. This is the same one that was used on the Titan, the 780, 780 Ti, and originally on the GTX 690, except that had the fan in the middle. So it's a blower style cooler, so it means it sucks in air from down this end and in through the fan itself and blows the air out and exhausts it out the back of the card. This is good because it keeps temperatures down within your case, as all the hot air is being exhausted out the rear of the case. It's more similar to the 780 Ti cooler in the sense that it has the darkened out fins that you can see through the polycarbonate window. Otherwise, it's pretty standard. We see the SLI fingers up top like normal. The Geforce GTX logo here lights up, but it has dual 6-pin power connectors, and it's been a while since we've seen that. You have to go back to the GTX 680 to see dual 6-pin power adapters on a flagship Nvidia card. So looking at the rear I/O now, we see it has this nice honeycomb design. We have 3 DisplayPort ports. This means you're going to be able to run 3 G-Sync monitors off a single GTX 980. HDMI 2.0, which means you're going to be able to run a 4K monitor over HDMI at 60 Hz. You're not going to be stuck at 30 Hz anymore. And a single DVI-I connection. Looking at the back now, we can see that there is a difference. Nvidia has included a backplate now, so this is the first reference graphics card that has come with a backplate from Nvidia. If you see this bit here that juts out, this is removable, so that's if you want to run 2 of these cards in SLI or 3 of them together. You're not going to choke the card above it because of the backplate jutting out. So this is removable so that it still allows the card above it to intake air and not be suffocated. Now let's get into what you guys all came here to see, the benchmark. So I'm putting this new flagship up against the old flagship, the GTX 780 Ti. Now, the GTX 780 Ti I am using is a non-reference. It's the ASUS DirectC 2 model, so you also have to keep that in mind. And the highest boost clock this reference GTX 980 would go up to was 1227 megahertz. That's obviously just with GPU Boost 2.0, whereas the DirectC 2 780 Ti I was using went up to 1094 megahertz with GPU Boost 2.0. So the first benchmark I did was Unigine Heaven. This is DirectX 11, everything maxed out 1080p. The GTX 980 reference scored 63.8 frames per second average. The DirectC 2 780 Ti scored 62.9 frames per second average. Now heaven again, this time OpenGL, once again everything maxed out, 1080p. The reference GTX 980 scored 56.8 frames per second average. The DirectC2 780 Ti scored 58 frames per second average, so the 780 Ti there beating it by about 1 frames per second. Now Tomb Raider, this is everything maxed out 1080p without VSync. The GTX 980 reference scored 90.3 frames per second average. The DirectC2 780 Ti scored 94.2 frames per second average. And lastly, BioShock Infinite, this is on user setting 2. The GTX 980 reference scored 128.8 frames per second. The DirectC2 780 Ti scored 128.5 frames per second. So we're seeing that even the reference model GTX 980 is keeping up with a non-reference DirectC2 780 Ti, and it's also on its first set of drivers. So imagine when they optimize the drivers more further down the road and some really fast non-reference 980s come out, it's really going to take off. Now with all that being said, let's see how it does in terms of temperatures. As far as temperatures go, I was so impressed by the GTX 980. As I said earlier, it's very efficient, only has two 6-pin power connectors. But to do my temperature testing, I ran both of this reference GTX 980 and the DirectC2 780 Ti in Firmark, and that's for 15 minutes, 4 times MSA, and I took the highest temperature and the highest fan speed they both went up to. Now, the reference GTX 980 went up to 79 degrees Celsius. And remember, this is a thermal limit of 98 degrees, so 79 degrees is very good. And that was only at 49% fan speed. The DirectC2 780 Ti, on the other hand, went to 83 degrees Celsius. That's 4 degrees higher on a non-reference model. And that was at 74% fan speed. So a big win here, and this is just the reference GTX 980. So you can see with all that thermal headroom, you can overclock this really far, and you could run a way more aggressive fan curve on this reference model, and it'll still be able to overclock like crazy without getting too hot. So a big win here in terms of thermals for the GTX 980. In conclusion, the GTX 980 is everything we were expecting from Nvidia. Performance-wise, it's going neck and neck with a non-reference GTX 780 Ti, which is really amazing, and that's on the initial set of drivers. Not only that, but its thermal performance is better, running 4 degrees cooler in Firmark over the non-reference 780 Ti. It's also more power efficient, which means you'll be saving money in the long run, and it's really crazy for overclocking because you have so much thermal headroom to play with. Not only that, it comes with all the new features I talked about earlier, and all of this at a lower price point than the initial launch price of the GTX 780 Ti means it's such a great deal to pick up. Now I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, as the next video we will be doing is the GTX 970, which is a really good graphics card also. And I hope to see you guys again on Playtech TV.